So whenever I'm navigating around Leanpub, I always try and start at the homepage and go to the escape hatch. If you can see my mouse at the top right here, clicking on my avatar. Just click on your avatar and you can see the main account sections all at the top there, and quite prominently in alphabetical order, you'll find purchases. This is my kind of dummy kind of demo account, so there's not going to be anything kind of very serious in here. So here, if you go to the purchases, if you click on purchases in your account, you go to the all purchases page by default.